This poor girl looks like she's foaming at the mouth. I'm pretty sure it's toothpaste. She's got a black spot on her torso. She was really filthy. You can't see it very well in the video, but she was really dirty. Very well played with. Marks on her legs, her arms. She's got something on her back. Her hair is a mess. Very ratty. First I grab a magic eraser and tear off a piece of it. Get it a little bit wet and squeeze out the extra water. Magic eraser gets most marks off. For the toothpaste, I just use a toothbrush. And then I go over it with a magic eraser, being careful around the paint because it will come off. To take the wig off, I'm trying to find a loose area on it with my fingers. It would have been a lot easier if I would have taken the head off and then loosened the glue using the hot water method inside the head. I'm using a Pampered Chef citrus peeler to help pry it off, and then I just peel it like an orange. Don't pull on it, just peel it. This last part was especially difficult. To clean the body, I'm using a damp rag dipped in hot water and laundry detergent. I squeezed out any excess. And then for the black spot, I'm using Awesome cleaner that I got from the dollar store. Now it's really difficult to see in the video, but underneath her lip, she has a pink mark on her. Now to get that off, I'm using 10% benzoyl peroxide acne wash mixed with 50 volume hair developer and the sun. I just put a little bit on just where the mark is using a Q-tip. She also had some on her leg. I put her in the direct sunlight, covered her up to protect any other areas of her body. The kids really got a kick out of it. After 8 hours, I wiped it off with a magic eraser, and the mark was completely gone. To remove the head, I use a seam ripper to cut the stitches that are holding the opening together. Then I use a cuticle cutter to snip the zip tie. Some of them come with string, but most of the newer ones come with the zip tie. For the eye swap, you'll need gloves, a toothpick, a wooden spoon or spatula, new eyes, a bowl, and a towel to keep the head in. First, get some boiling water and put it inside the head. Cover it with the towel to keep it warm and set the timer for 5 minutes. Then dump the water out and use the end of the wooden spoon to push the eye out. And it does take a lot of practice. It took about 4 or 5 times for me to get it out. and I felt like I was going to break the eye socket because I was pushing so hard, but apparently I wasn't pushing hard enough. You have to pretty much use all your strength to push it out. And the hotter that you have the head, the easier it is to come out. Looking it over, I see that I have not damaged it. To put the eyes in, you reheat the head for 5 minutes with boiling water. Place the eye with the eyelashes facing down towards the chin, and then push straight down. Again, the hotter you have the head, the easier it is. In fact, it was easier for me to put the eyes in than it was to get them out. And I think it's because I had the head hotter than it was when I was taking them out. And a lot of people say it's harder to put them in than take them out. And I am using the towel to protect my hands from getting burned instead of using the gloves. So you can do either way. Then use the toothpick to carefully move the eyes in the right position, being careful to only touch the metal part. These are turquoise eyes from Doll of a Kind on Etsy. For painting the lips, I'm using a number 4 paintbrush, a glazing medium, and acrylic paints. Using a magic eraser, I got most of the factory paint off of the lips. I use a tiny bit of brown and coral color with a lot of the medium. This makes sure it goes on nice and smooth and not too dark. With a very steady, slow hand, I paint the lips. It takes a lot of practice, and sometimes I had to wipe it all off and start over again. Then for the blush, I'm using Coral Rose stencil paint that I sell in my eBay shop. First, I take off the outer layer, and then I get a little bit on the rag, put it on the cheek, and then I rub it in with the clean part of the rag. The key is to really fan it out and blend it. For the shading on the nose, I use dark chocolate stencil paint. Again, I take the top layer off and then get a little bit on a Q-tip. And carefully put it on each side of the nose, and then I use the other side of the Q-tip to rub it in. For the freckles, again, I'm using dark chocolate stencil paint and a 3/0 paintbrush. Get a little bit of paint on the paintbrush and then carefully dot it onto the cheeks and nose. When using stencil paint, there's no need to use Mr. Super Clear to seal it because it's already permanent once it dries. It usually takes about a day to completely dry. If you mess up, you can always just wipe it off and start again. I have the Coral Rose, dark chocolate, and other colors available in my eBay shop at cpkdiana. I use my finger to gently blot the paint, being careful not to smudge it. To put the head back on, first I string a safety pin to weave it through the neck casing. tie the string good and tight. This girl is getting a new wig. I got it from Dallas Doll Company. This is the Cinnamon Splendor wig. It's pretty easy to put on. First I put it on the front and then I pull it around the back. It can be glued or just put on like this if I want it to be temporary. Well, I'd say she looks pretty good, all clean and looking new. Now she just needs some clothes. So I picked World Traveler in Peru and glasses so that she looks like me. So, what do you think?